Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and of course tonight I am joined by none other than that man that we call Big B, which is a Minnesota Twins fan. How you doing tonight, my man?
Doing okay. A lot going on. Glad we're doing this little special show here.
Absolutely. And then, of course, welcome in that man that we call Mr. Isaiah Leong. We're not really sure exactly who he's a fan of because I know he says it's the Phillies and A's, but I'm not really exactly sure, as he always jumps back and forth between, you know, what team he likes and what team he doesn't. So I don't really know. So
He
I'm
might
just
be
going
the
to
only Pittsburgh fan we know too. I mean, who knows?
very well could be. Actually, no, Sammy Sharp is actually a Pittsburgh fan. So anyway, welcome in, Isaiah. So Isaiah, how's it going tonight?
It's going great. Big B, I'm a little confused by your statement. You know, you said that there's a lot going on. Hell, with the way my A's are acting and my Phillies are acting, I didn't even know the baseball offseason even started because I was sleeping. I was in slumber mode right now, and I woke up, and we haven't done anything yet. So we haven't done anything besides maybe re-sign like one player to a minor league contract, which was that was it. So for me, I'm just like sitting here and just sleeping right now. Probably wake up in March and be like, oh, who did we trade? We traded this guy? We traded that guy? Oh, great. Another fire sale. Unbelievable.
Well, I can tell you, we have a lot going. There's been a lot of big news, and whether or not, you know, your Phillies or your A's or whatever not doing anything, there's some other teams that are making moves. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and welcome in Mr. Crispy Bacon. How's it going tonight? Everybody keep in mind that Crispy Bacon is actually a Texas Rangers fan, which they've made a lot of moves. So, Crispy Bacon, welcome in, and how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, and yeah, the Rangers are making moves. I'm surprised about that, and hopefully these moves turn out to be good moves, and I think they will.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're definitely. If you ask me, I can tell you they are not done making moves yet. I can guarantee it. They're still going to be out there. They're still going to be making moves. But so we are going to be talking about MLB because there's been a lot going on. But we're going to also be talking, you know, a little NFL and maybe some injuries on the forefront and COVID situations and different things along that line. So, you know what? Before we get to any big time things, Big B, since you're the Minnesota Twins fan, why don't you go ahead and give everybody any updates that you may have towards the Minnesota Twins, any rumors, anything they might have done so far?
Well, so far the biggest thing is they signed Byron Buxton. I think it was 6 years, $100 million, which is a good sign that they're willing to put.
They gave him a 7-year deal.
Seven-year deal. Yeah. A little less than what he wanted, but a little more than what the Twins wanted to spend on him. He's probably the face of the franchise right now. As long as he stays healthy, Twins, you know, win at a 70% rate. So when he's in the lineup, he's winning. Outside of that, Twins have been pretty quiet. I wish they would, you know, spend like the Rangers. Or, you know, not even spend, make an offer, make it public that we offered, you know, 6 years, $100 million to such and such pitcher. You know, if we don't sign him, great. You know, I just hate, well, we talked to this guy. Well, we talked to that guy. Well, what did you guys talk about? Did you just talk about, hey, do you want to have dinner or something? I mean, but, you know, so right now, so far, the Twins have only signed Buxton.
So you haven't really heard any rumors or anything so far going on?
From what I've heard is that the ownership wants to go out. They're going to take their time. They're going to spend, you know, on who they think they can get. So we'll see what happens there. So.
All right. And then, of course, welcome in Christy Wilson. So, Christy Wilson, how are you doing tonight? I hope that you're having a fantastic night.
She is a Boston Red Sox fan, I believe.
Absolutely. She is a Boston Red Sox fan. And, of course, as everybody can see, I'm the reigning and defending world champ Atlanta Braves fan. So
All because of Will
that-
Smith.
So that was the update from you know what? I'm not even mad at Will Smith right now. I'm completely okay with Will Smith at this moment. He came in, he got the job done in the postseason like he should have. He got the job done. So I'm not angry at him right now at all. So now we'll jump to the man that actually has a lot to talk about because his team has done an astronomical amount. And as you can see, he's repping them now. You have Crispy Bacon, which you guys have made, quite a few signings. You've gone out, you've signed Marcus Simeon, you've signed Cole Calhoun.
Yeah.
You have signed
John
Corey
Gray.
Seager. I mean, right now, your guys' infield is looking like one of the best infields in the American League right now. I mean, you guys have got it going. So,
We do.
but as you can say, though, you guys are definitely not done. So you guys
No.
are going from this team that everyone's like, well, they're kind of trash to, well, you know what? They're making moves and they might actually be decent in the coming years. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to win it all next year.
Oh, I don't think so either.
It might take them a few more times, but I'm telling you,
Yeah,
they're making enough moves to where they're going to compete.
So far, according to ESPN, they spent just over $500 million.
That's not too bad. I think
It's
we'll
not
be,
too bad. No, go ahead, Chris. Take it away.
I think they'll be playoff bound or close to it. I don't see us going farther than that though.
Well, okay, but do you really? Because here's the thing that you can look at right now. Okay, so look, number one, look at this massive contract you guys just went and gave Corey Seager. Massive contract. Okay, massive. Did anybody expect Corey Seager to get this type of deal? Number one, no way. I don't think anybody saw him getting this type of contract. Is Corey Seager a great player? Absolutely. Am I glad he plays in the American League now? Absolutely, because he no longer plays with the LA Dodgers, and that was one of my problems with having Corey Seager with the LA Dodgers. I just didn't like it. And speaking of that, though, but before we get to Scherzer and all that, so Chris, tell me, how excited are you about the moves that the Texas Rangers have made so far?
I'm excited. I think they're good signings, and I think they're going to take us, farther than we did last year. Maybe a few more wins, maybe a little more competitive than they did last year.
Oh, well, they're definitely going to be more competitive than last year. How could they not be? But you went out last year, you got rid of your best player in Gallo, but now you've actually picked up some better players, and it's going to be a wait and see. Now your rotation is going to be the thing that I would like to see exactly what's going to happen with, because there are rumors and speculations out there that potentially Kershaw could end up in Texas, but I'm telling you, I don't think Kershaw will end up in Texas. I think that he'll end up with one of the LA teams, whether it be the Dodgers, or whether it be the Angels. I think that he's going to end up with one of the LA teams, but I don't know which one yet. But
I mean, it'd be cool to have Kershaw here. I think he's a local, so I mean, he grew up here in Texas, so
he's a local, but
yeah,
I just think that he's more right now. He's happy in the LA area, but it's going to be whether or not the LA Dodgers are willing to pay him the amount of money he wants, and that's going to be the big thing. But Christy Wilson right now is saying that she believes that Kershaw is going to stay with the Dodgers, and you know what? It's a good possibility that he may. Kershaw, I think, is going to understand that he's not the same pitcher that he once was. He's not anymore. He's kind of getting up there in age. He doesn't stay as healthy as he used to. He doesn't pitch the innings that he used to. But are the Dodgers willing to pay him? I think they're willing to pay him something, but I don't think they're willing to pay a massive amount of money.
To me, if I'm Kershaw, I kind of think about going to the bullpen for a couple of years too to fully get healthy. I mean, you can still put in the innings, you can spot start here and there. Do kind of what not Maddox, Smoltz did, and just maybe not be a closer, but just go and pitch, spot start, get an inning here or there. Get fully healthy, and then come back and be your dominant self. That's what I think. I mean, That's why I think he's going to stay with the Dodgers. I don't think he's going anywhere.
So before we get to that, Isaiah, I must ask you, okay, because you took your camera off the screen for a minute, and then I was gonna ask you and say, what's up with the cow, man?
I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. Like, I always think that like my Facebook profile picture is supposed to be my picture if I'm not using one of the pictures on StreamYard, but I don't know.
It looks better. I mean,
I don't know
Yeah,
who put the cow there. I really don't. I think someone on MI6 probably has like the cow picture because I'm using the MI6 StreamYard to log into this StreamYard that we are in. So I guess someone on MI6 probably put the cow picture as their picture, and I'm just using it as of right now.
Well, it very well could be. But so Christy Wilson, and it's funny though, Christy, because I was thinking about that same thing. She talked about when John Smoltz went and helped the bullpen, and he did, because John Smoltz is actually one of the only starters in MLB history that pitched as good as he did as a starter, and then went in to be a closer and had like 35 plus saves in like 3 consecutive seasons. So the dude was dominant as a starter. He was dominant as a closer. And who's to say that?
Healthy. I mean, he got healthier.
And who's to say that Kershaw couldn't do the same thing? But now we'll go ahead and go to Isaiah. Which Isaiah, if you want, you can mention, so far what the Oakland A's have done. Which they they haven't really signed anybody, but
they let everybody go.
They let everybody go.
I don't think Billy Beane, David Forst, and the A's front office, as well as the A's ownership, even though it's the off season, because I have literally not heard any rumors regarding the A's signing players. I haven't heard any signing from the Oakland A's. Heck, I haven't even heard any rumors regarding our vacant managerial opening. It's like everything's dead down here in Oakland. It's like Billy Beane and David Forst and the A's just decided, we'll wait until everybody signs all the other players. We'll wait until everybody trades all the players, and we'll wait until like February or March before we actually get things going. Let's pack up our suitcases and pack up our offices and take a trip to Cancun for a couple of months, and let's just relax because it was such a hard season last year. Like, I honestly think the A's, I would not be shocked if the entire front office right now is either in Tahiti, in the Bahamas, or in Cancun,
Or
just
Vegas?
chilling, because there's literally been nothing. There's absolutely been dead silence on the manager thing, on the signing players, even on trades. So you haven't even heard any trades regarding, Matt Olson and Matt Chapman and all these other guys. So I just think the A's front office either are vacationing right now, or who knows, maybe all of them are sitting in front of a TV 24/7 playing Halo or whatever it is.
No, I think they're working on trying to figure out the best route to get from Oakland to Vegas. I think that's what they're looking for.
Maybe they're at the casino in Vegas at the Bellagio just gambling away. Maybe that's what they're doing right now.
Well, I can tell you, you always talk about how you're a Phillies fan also, but they haven't done much either. They haven't really done much of anything.
Yeah, they haven't done much of anything. But the thing about the Phillies that's different from the A's is at least you hear rumors that they're checking in on this guy and that guy, and they're interested in this guy, and they're in on this guy. Like, that's the difference between the A's. Like, the A's is just completely dead silence, but the Phillies, you hear some smoke coming out. I heard, I think a couple days ago, that they were interested in Chris Bryant, which I actually have him pegged to the Phillies in my free agent predictions. And also, I heard they were interested in Nicholas Castellanos from the Reds. So I guess that would be a good move to shore up the outfield. They were interested in Starling Marte, which I think would have been a great move for the Phillies to shore up the outfield. And also Trevor Story is another guy that they're interested in. And I believe the other guy that I've heard that they're interested in is Josh Hader, the closer for the Milwaukee Brewers. But they would have to acquire him via trade. And
Not going to happen.
I don't think that they have the pieces to make a trade happen for Josh Hader. But if I'm the Phillies, the one guy I would definitely go after, though, in terms of the bullpen, is the A's closer. Because with Oakland having a fire sale and, Lou Trevino could potentially be available via trade, I think you could get him for far less than you could get for Josh Hader. And I think that if you get Lou Trevino, who had 22 saves last year and a 3.23 ERA, I think that would be better spent money-wise and assets-wise instead of just giving up all your assets for Josh Hader.
Well, you talk about Nick Castellanos and stuff like that, but the thing is, he is seeking like a long-term deal. He's looking at like 8 or 9 year contract. That's what he wants. And so, if you're willing to give Nick Castellanos a huge contract, especially 8 or 9 years, imagine the amount of money he's going to want. And so, what team is going to be willing to put that out? I know that somebody's going to be willing to put them. There's going to be a team that's going to do it, whether it be a high team, like the Yankees or the Dodgers or, the Red Sox, who are willing to put out money like that. It's going to be interesting to see who will do that. But, both your teams right now are kind of sitting still. They haven't really done much. My Braves so far, we signed Pina from the Brewers. He was their backup catcher. So for us, though,
that's what you need, another catcher. Don't you guys
another catcher? Well,
6-7 on the roster.
That's the thing, though. Right now, because we're actually setting up to make a trade, because we want to bring in another starter for our rotation, and so we brought in another catcher, and we're definitely going to go with Darno as our starter, and then we're going to go Pina as our backup. But then since you have Pina as your backup, now you have options behind him, because you have a William Contreras. You can trade him if you wanted to. You have Stephen Voigt, which I believe is actually a free agent now. You could pick up his option if you wanted to, but they're not going to do that. They're going to let him walk. There'd be no reason to pick up his option. And then we have a few more people in the farm system that we could trade if needed be. So I think at this point we're actually setting up to trade a catcher at this point. And the big surrounding right now, the big news is what's going to happen with Freddie Freeman. Is Atlanta going to sign Freddie Freeman? We offered him a 5-year deal. He said no on the 5-year deal because he wants a 6-year deal. Originally,
160, I think.
180.
180, okay.
180. He wants 6 at 180 right now. And you know what? Give it to him. Just offer it to him. Just give it to him. You're legitimately 1 year apart. You're offering you offered him 5 years for like $130 million. He turned it down and said no. Give him the extra year. Just give him the extra year. If you don't give it to him, somebody else will. And and right now the rumors are swirling, stating that Freddie Freeman actually right now is growing frustrated with the organization because he's like, hey, I wanna return as a Brave, but this is the worst part about it was too that the Braves were actually turning to Oakland and being like, well, what might it take to get Matt Olson? So we know at this point in time, they're looking at a contingency plan to where they're like, well, maybe we need to look at something if this Freddie Freeman thing doesn't work out. And I'm like, you know what? Before you do that, maybe you need to focus on Freddie Freeman. Don't focus on Matt Olson.
Right. See, and that's the thing is not, if they've already reached out to Oakland or whoever, for another first baseman, now you're making Freddie Freeman feel like, oh, I'm second option now. You're just coming off in a World Series. I don't understand why you would not try to sign everybody that's a free agent. Bring back that team. Bring them
the
back.
Buccaneers did.
Well,
the Buccaneers did, and I know that.
I mean, if the money's there, yes. I mean, your first focus is definitely on Freeman, but after that, I don't know why you still would not try to bring back Rosario and everybody else you traded for to try to bring back that World Series again.
Yeah, but here's the problem, though. I get where you're coming from, Big B. I completely get that. But here's the problem that you're running into. Ozuna, he just got cleared to play.
Nope.
And so, Ozuna will be back. I'm not saying he'll be outfield, DH. If that, if
he'll be your outfielder.
He'll be DH. So you're going to have Ozuna.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have Acuna, who's going to be back. Okay, so you have those two. And then guess what? You have one spot left. which if you have one spot left, you have Adam Duvall, who's a free agent. You have Eddie Rosario, who's a free agent. You have Jorge Soler, that's a free agent.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and I know you only got 1 or 2 spots, and you got 5 guys that could fill it. I mean, I just don't know why you would not try to bring back your World Series team as much as possible.
Well, I mean, call me crazy, but if I'm the Braves,
No, we do.
I would go for Matt Olson because Matt Olson's younger. How old is Freeman? Freeman's what, 30, 31, 32, 33?
He's only 33, but still, the thing is, you're giving him a 6-year deal. Okay, so he's sitting at 32 years old right now. You give him a 6-year deal. That's only 38 years old. This is baseball. This isn't the NFL to where a lot of this is taking a toll on your body.
Yeah, but you can have Olson
for
for
the
the next
6-year
15
contract.
years, though.
What?
I mean, you could have not 15 years, but like 10 years, 10, 12 years.
If you're telling me that you would rather have a Matt Olson over Freddie Freeman, you're crazy, man. You're
I'd
nuts.
rather have Freddie Freeman over
There's no
him.
way I'm taking a Matt Olson over Freddie Freeman. There's no way.
Have you seen Matt Olson play? He's a
I've seen
legit
Matt Olson play,
great power hitter.
But if you're telling me that you would take Matt Olson over Freddie Freeman, I don't know what kind of baseball you're watching, but that's insane, man.
I would take Sano over Matt Olson, and I'm not a big Sano guy.
I would take Olson because he's younger. That's like the only reason why I would take
Based off
Olson.
of age?
But
Based off
baseball
of age? Are you kidding me? Okay,
baseball
so
is different than football. Football is more about age. Yeah.
by that logic, let me ask you this. By that logic, because you're speaking of age. You're speaking of age and you're saying, well, because this person's younger, I would take them. So let me ask you a question. We're going to dangle an Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady in front of you. Or you can choose Trevor Lawrence. Which quarterback you taking?
Give me the weapons.
No, you don't get to know the weapons. I'm telling you, which one are you taking?
Oh, dude, it's a no-brainer. Of course it's going to be Rodgers or
Thank you.
or Brady. But
Thank you. That's my point. You're talking
but
about
you
age.
can't compare Olson
You're
and
switching
Freeman
it.
to
You're switching it.
Lawrence
You're
and
switching
Brady.
it.
Hold on, but Isaiah, you're saying that you're taking a quarterback in the 30s and in Rodgers or Brady, but you wouldn't in somebody in baseball. But yet you said you
It makes
would.
no sense.
Well, I got a better comparison. I think this is a better comparison. It would be Brady or Rodgers or Deshaun Watson. That's like without the off-field stuff. Because Olson is a transcendent talent. I mean, this dude hit 39 home runs last year. He hit like 28, I believe, the year before.
Okay,
He
but-
won multiple Gold Gloves.
Who's
But
he
this
talking
is-
about?
But this
Matt
is the
Olson.
problem, though. This is the problem, though, Isaiah. You're looking at Matt Olson and you're talking about, okay, 38 home runs or whatever it was. What do you bat? Like a 260, right? So you have Freddie Freeman. You have Freddie Freeman who hits 30-plus home runs a season, almost drives in 100 RBIs a season, yet he averages batting over 300 or over every single season. People look at the numbers and they're like, well, I want this guy because he hits home runs. I don't care about that, man. It's a big thing is average. Can you get on base? Freddie Freeman gets on base. He's going to get on base way more than Matt Olson will. And average shows it. It just
Well, no, I get your point. Like, and I think if you're the Braves, you should definitely give him the 6 years because Freddie Freeman basically means everything to Atlanta. But I would not be like against getting Matt Olson if you're the Atlanta Braves, just because I think I think Matt Olson honestly next year could be a top 20 player in baseball. That's how good he is. I watched him on a daily basis, and this dude's one of the best offensive players and defensive players in the game, and he's just getting better. I mean, this dude's only, 26, 27, 28?
He's 27.
27, yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, the only thing that works in Matt Olson's favor is he's from Atlanta. So he'd have the hometown ties, but if you're the Braves, Freeman's your
Freddie
first
Freeman.
option. Yeah, Freddie Freeman's your first option for sure. But then after that, if Freeman is getting frustrated with and he decides to sign somewhere else, then possibly Matt Olson's probably option number 2. But you don't say we're reaching out to Oakland now and see. You wait until your deal is done with Freddie Freeman, or a deal is done.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if I'm Freddie Freeman, it's like, oh, you're already figuring out my backup plan if I don't sign for you guys. So you're making me second option. So
Yeah, well, welcome in Nate, welcome in Mess Around Dave, welcome in Justin. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the Coast to Coast special that's just covering MLB and NFL tonight. So, but, we can jump into some big signings too. This is a thing that too. There was a lot of people that were talking about, like Scherzer, and, we talked about Corey Seager, to where, there was a lot of Dodgers fans who said that, oh, you know what, Corey Seager's going back to the Dodgers. Everyone's saying Scherzer's going back to the Dodgers. And, they're saying that the Dodgers were going to re-sign everybody. Well, guess what? So far, they haven't really re-signed anybody.
I'm one of
Seager
them
left and went to Texas. Huh?
I said it too, and I'm shocked.
Yeah, they haven't. Like, Corey Seager went to the Rangers. You have Max Scherzer, which shockingly, and I'm going to say this about Scherzer, shockingly signs with the New York Mets. I was not expecting that at all. And so
I'm looking at that deal is that they don't think they're going to bring. Well, they lost Syndergaard, so it's going to take the replace of that. And who knows with Stroman and the health issues with DeGrom. So
exactly, but now it's going to be interesting because now a big thing is, Scherzer's like 38. So Scherzer's not young anymore. But so now you've offered him a 3-year contract for like $130 million. So you're actually paying a 38-year-old pitcher a lot. Now, I'm not saying that Scherzer can't, pitch dominant anymore, because I still think he can.
Yep.
But you saw what happened to him in the postseason with the fatigue. You started seeing that. And so, at the age of 38, is he going to start getting fatigued? That is going to be the big thing. What is going to happen? And so you're going to have Scherzer, which you're not really sure if his arm's going to hold up all season. And then you have Jacob deGrom, who can't stay healthy. Now, if these two are healthy, the Mets have an awesome 1-2 punch.
And then you throw Stroman in there if he resigns.
Absolutely. So with those two, you have a strong 1-2 punch. Stroman, you could have a strong 1-2-3, and Syndergaard's gone. But you're going to have to look at, what are your 4 and 5 going to be? So, right now, the Mets are definitely on the right track, because they went out and got Marte. But let's not forget about the trade that we saw to Pittsburgh Pirates trading Stallings to the Marlins of all teams. The Marlins. So
two bad teams making a move. I mean,
yeah, but if you're Stallings, like, it makes me wonder. You're like, when the Pirates go, hey, we traded you. You're like, oh, sweet. Where am I going? And they go, the Marlins. He's like, what?
I'll stay.
It's like pick your poison. Do you want the Marlins or do you want the Pirates?
Yeah, exactly. Or the Devil Rays, or not Devil Rays, Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks.
Yeah. So you brought up Seager going to the Rangers for, what was it, 10 for 320, 325?
Yeah, for 320, yeah.
Okay. So the top rated free agent right now is Cora. What's he going to go for?
Which Cora right now, from what I've read, is that he basically has an agreement in place with the Tigers right now. They're just waiting on the final logistics of it all. But it looks like that Carlos Correa is going to end up being a Detroit Tiger.
Well, but that wouldn't make any sense, though, because didn't they get Baez as well?
Yeah, they just signed Baez, too.
They did.
Well, the thing is they either one play short, one play third, or one play second, one play short. I mean, that doesn't concern me too much, but I mean, if Seager got 10 for 325, I mean, Cora's going to go for what, 10 for 350, 375, 4? I mean,
400, I could see it. He
I mean,
doesn't.
that's a
He
lot.
doesn't have the injuries as or he does have like a little bit of injuries, but not as much as.
And then you got the young rock star in Story. You know, what does he go for? You know, because everybody thought he was going to be the next big shortstop. I mean, you know, does he go for 3? Does he go for less than 3? I mean, you know, because you got Simeon right there that went for 7 for 175, and then there's another shortstop that, and then Baez's contract with the Tigers for 6 for 140. So
Yeah,
you know,
but
I mean, where does Story fit in that conversation?
no, I get what you're saying. I'm just simply saying that when you look at this, though, you know, you like these teams. Some of these teams know that they're going to have to make moves in order to compete. So you know, you look at the Tigers, and the Tigers know that, you know, they're going to have to be competing with the White Sox because the White Sox just signed Graveman. So the White Sox
What about
are gonna,
the Twins? I mean, come on now.
okay, well, you know what? Let's not get over Gelstar. But the Tigers know that they're going to have to compete with the White Sox. And I'm not too worried about the Indians anymore. But the Tigers right now are looking at this going, you know what? We have an opportunity right now because the Indians have gotten worse. The Royals, they're lying back in the weeds. You know, they can make some moves maybe and maybe get a little bit better. You know, last year they were 14 games under 500 last year. So they weren't horrible by any means. They weren't a terrible team.
No.
So, you know, they could do some moves to get better. And then you have the Twins who were 16 games under 500. But the Tigers are looking at this going, you know what? If we make the right moves, we can compete in the Central. And so if the Tigers go out, you know, and they sign Baez, if they can go out and also sign Correa, which he could be next, he very well could be next. The Tigers could start looking like a real competitive team in the Central.
Yeah. And Adam, just to point out, the Indians are no longer.
Oh yeah, it's the Guardians now. Yes, it's the Guardians. Yes, they changed the name to the Guardians.
You're definitely right. I mean, the Tigers have to look at it as like, hey, we're right there. We're X amount of games behind the White Sox. You know, they can't focus on what the Royals do, the Guardians do, the Twins do. They got to focus on what above them does. Okay,
Well,
so
yeah.
the White Sox haven't made any moves, or they signed a relief pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the Tigers have to get better, you know, and stick with the White Sox. So if they get Correa, I mean, you know, that's going to be a nice little setup on the, you know, short third or short second. I mean, that's big bucks right there. I mean,
I don't only think that they're looking at the division though, too. They're also looking at the American League, knowing that, you know, if they're going to compete for a deep run in the playoffs, they're going to have to build a better team because, you know, the Rangers are trying to get better. The Yankees are going to be there because of everybody that they have. I think a lot of Yankees fans right now are getting angry because Yankees fans were expecting them to come out, maybe get, you know, like a Corey Seager or maybe, you know, get a Chris Bryant or somebody like that. And none of this stuff has happened yet. Or a big thing that the Yankees were lacking was pitching. And so I think right now that's what Yankees fans are looking at. Are they going to go out and get a pitcher? None of this has happened yet. And so, but
I think a lot of teams, I mean, there's some teams that are signing the big guys right away. I think a lot of teams are waiting for tomorrow to see what happens. You know, with the CBA.
Because it's that whole CBA tomorrow, which
and Chris Bryant's already came out and said he ain't signing until after the CBA is all settled. So Bryant, unless the money's right, I don't see him signing anywhere until after the CBA.
I mean, but there has been a lot of big signings so far, a lot of them, which people going to teams that I can tell you I was not expecting them to go to.
Well, the Mets. I mean, you know, Sterling Marte, you know,
Max Scherzer,
and they signed Escobar.
Yeah.
Which, again, I mean, you know,
don't forget Montana too.
Yeah, I know our guy Dirk that's on deck with me and Chris. I mean, he's probably doing somersaults right now
because they got
Oh,
Scherzer.
Oh, they got everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
I know.
He's probably bittersweet though
Yeah.
between the
Yeah,
Mets
exactly.
and the Rangers. So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, but is the Mets going to do their typical Met thing? To where they start out really, really hot and then they get the epic collapses towards the end.
So let's. I mean, I don't know how much more we're going to talk about this, but Ace,
Mhm.
we know you want Freeman.
Definitely. Yeah.
So out of everybody else, who would be another guy you would want the Braves to target?
For me personally,
Yeah.
well,
The Braves call you up and say, "Hey, who should we go get? Who do you want them to go get?"
right now, what I want to see is my thing is before I say anything about the outfield, I want to know what they're going to do with Ozuna, and then I want to know, about the DH. Is it going to be a universal thing? If it's going to be a universal DH, then at that point, then I would say, okay, then move Ozuna to universal DH, and then go sign Jorge Soler
Okay.
or Eddie Rosario, and have them out there, or sign them both, and then that way, you can have a platoon out there in the outfield, and alternate. That's fine, because you're just as good if you're platooning them in and out. You're not losing anything if you do that. But then, then after that, I think we're going to be fine at third base because Riley's still there. We're going to be fine at shortstop on the fielding side with Dansby Swanson. I just wish that Dansby Swanson was a little bit better with his bat. He's very inconsistent with that, so I wish he could get better with that. Ozzy, we're going to be fine at second base with him, and then if we can get Freeman back, we'll be fine at first base.
Oh, yeah.
So other than that, besides us having the starting rotation of Fried, Morton, Anderson, and potentially Soroka, I think that we need to get our fifth starter out there and solidify that fifth spot. If they're not going to use anybody from the farm system right now, which you have Tucker Davidson, you have Kyle Wright. These are guys that you could potentially use in the fifth rotation spot. So maybe.
What about you, Chris? I mean, they've already went out and signed people. Who else would you like them to target?
I am not sure. I mean, there's talks of other players, but I'm not quite sure.
I mean, for me, with Minnesota, I want them to target everybody. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I would love to see them go out and put the money and get Story. I think he would fit well right there in the middle of the lineup with the Twins. I'd like to see him go out and get some starting pitching. I wouldn't mind to have Kershaw come in, possibly, start. Anybody that can start for the Twins that has done good. They need starting, just like the Braves. We traded away our best starter last year. I think we need to go out and get 2-3 starters. Kershaw would definitely be the ace on this team right now when healthy. So, how about you, Isaiah? I mean, I know you root for half the league anyway. So
just 1 sec, Big B. Just touching on Chris's really quick. Chris, if you guys need anything, you guys need starting pitching, because right now your ace is John Gray, and you're going to need more than that in your starting rotation if you want to do anything. Yeah. So you definitely need starters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Isaiah, you said Oakland's blowing it up. Let's focus on them. Who do you want them to go target?
It really depends on if the new CBA has – you guys know how they've been throwing out there in the new CBA proposals that to eliminate teams from tanking, right, the small market team, that they're going to have a pay floor, which means, like, every team has to spend this certain amount of money. Like, there's reports that it's going to be $80 million. There's going to be reports coming out that it's $100 million. So if there is a pay floor in baseball where, like, every team has to spend in excess of $80 million or $100 million, and the A's have to somehow do that, I honestly expect them to do this. I read somewhere, I think from Bob Nightingale, that if there is a pay floor or a salary floor, that they're going to sign a bunch of guys to massive 1-year contracts and try to flip them at the deadline just to try to reach that salary floor. So, I mean, if I'm the A's and, there is a salary floor, I wouldn't mind targeting Trevor Story. Like, I would give him like a 1-year, $45 million deal, and then maybe like try to flip him at the deadline or something like that, or just try to ride him out or whatever. Because I think that's honestly like the type of players you're going to see Oakland getting is just going to be, they're going to trade everybody away, and the team that they're going to field for next season is just going to be a bunch of 1-year deals just to, because when when you're trimming salary, I think the A's, their salary or their payroll right now is like $50 million or something like that. So if, let's say they trade Chapman and trade everybody away, they're probably gonna be down to like $25 million or something in excess of that range. So if there's a salary floor of 80 or 100 million, you're gonna have to somehow, some way, get that from 25 million all the way up to 100 million. You're gonna have to fill 75 million in salary for next year. So I actually see them getting like a bunch of guys on a 1-year deal, just give them like 1 year 30, 1 year 40, 1 year whatever, 25 or something like that, just to fill that, and then probably flip all those guys at the deadline and try to get prospects.
Well, it sounds like a great plan, but you got to also find a team that wants to eat that salary for 1 year. And that's going to be the biggest trouble. Is if Oakland does that, they might be stuck with the salary for the whole year, and in the long run, I mean, get prospects. But
right, well, that's like the bad part about this. Like I think a lot of small market teams, if there's like that salary floor that we're talking about, if there's that in place, they're just going to sign a whole bunch of guys to 1-year deals and just try to ship them off for prospects like halfway through the season. But the bad part would be, if nobody wants to take it, then you don't get any prospects, in return. It's going to be like a sneaky way of tanking without actually tanking.
Well, so speaking of, tanking, which I did promise that we would talk a little bit about NFL, so I do want to touch on a little bit before we hop off, because we do have a little bit of time. I do want to touch on that. And I'm not saying that this team is tanking, but I'm telling you, and Isaiah, that's fine. You don't have to agree with me, but I'm telling you, if anybody is a Seattle Seahawks fan, you can agree with me or not, something is not right with Russell Wilson. And I'm telling you, something is not right. I don't think, maybe he's not 100% yet from, the surgery on his finger. He says he is. But I'll tell you, I don't buy it. Something is not right, because this is not Russell Wilson. This is not.
The thing is as an athlete, you're always healthy no matter what. I mean, you roll out of bed. If you can't get out of bed, then you're not healthy. But if you're upright, you want to play. So Russell Wilson wants to play, and Ace, I'm with you. There's something there. He doesn't want to be there, or he's not healthy, or something. I mean, I agree with you. That Seattle team is kind of, I ain't gonna say they're tanky, but there's something going on.
Yeah, when you watch him play, like when I was watching the Monday night game last night, okay, and they're going against Washington, I'm seeing receivers that are wide open, and Wilson's missing throws. He's throwing it high, he's throwing it to the side, he's throwing it short, and I'm looking, going, this isn't Russell Wilson. This is not Russell Wilson.
Metcalf only had one catch?
He had one catch. Yeah. And so I'm definitely looking at this going, okay, what's up? Does Russell Wilson really want out this bad, that he's playing this poorly, to be like, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore? Maybe it's that. Maybe his finger's still messed up. But I'm telling you, something isn't right. And I know a lot of people out there, a lot of people have been saying this. What's up with Russell Wilson? What is up? He's not running like he used to. He makes throws every now and then, but not those usual, scramble around in the pocket to make some magic, and then he throws it and completes a pass. We're not seeing that.
Mm-mm.
And so at this point in time, you can say Seattle's done. Seattle this season, they're done. They're not coming out of this.
And Chrissy commented, do we see Russell get traded in the offseason?
Potentially.
I do.
To
They
Dallas
already,
For Dallas,
No,
for
no,
Dak
no.
Prescott.
No,
No, I think if Russell Wilson gets traded, I think it'll be to somewhere. I could potentially see New Orleans. That could be a place to go, or I could potentially see, maybe Miami trying to make a move at Russell Wilson.
I actually like Justin's idea, Giants.
A team like maybe, but Russell Wilson's gonna want to go somewhere that has a good offensive line, and the Giants do not have a good offensive line.
Green Bay to back up Aaron Rodgers.
No, they wouldn't do
That'd be an
that.
expensive backup.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. I'm just saying. I just wanted to bring that up first because I wanted to see if you guys agreed with me on that part about Russell Wilson. So, Isaiah, I know you're a Niners fan, so I really don't want you to be biased about this, but you can tell me because Russell Wilson's a great quarterback. So tell me, do you agree something is off with Russell Wilson?
Oh, 1,000%. I think last week, right, or the week before last week, we talked about the Seahawks and Russell Wilson on either one of the shows that we had on MI6 or Sports Minute. I don't remember exactly what show it was, but I said that Russell Wilson, there's something wrong with it. That's not the same Russell Wilson that we are used to seeing, That's a different Russell Wilson out there. I think his finger, I don't think it's because he's just playing so bad just to get the hell out of Seattle. I think it's his finger that's messed up. I don't think that Russell Wilson would purposely tank a season, like midway through a season. That's just not who he is and not part of his character. So I think it's his finger. I think that, his finger's definitely not 100%. And when your finger's definitely not 100%, and I think he's wearing a splint on his finger, I'm not mistaken, then that's really rough to throw the football with. And he missed 4 weeks with the injury. So yeah, he missed a lot of time with the injury. So he's still trying to get his rhythm back and he's still trying to recover from the injury. I just hope that, if he does get back to 100%, it won't be this upcoming week when my Niners go into Seattle and plays the Seahawks. Any week besides that, fine. You can go back to 100%. But Russell Wilson, take it easy this week. Take it easy.
Well, because he finally did make a throw at the end of the game last night. He finally made a throw to potentially try and tie it. That was his best throw of the game when he threw it to Swain over the middle and threw that touchdown pass. That was a gorgeous pass. That is the Russell Wilson I know. Other than that, this is not the Russell Wilson I know. Chris, would you agree with this too?
Yeah, I mean, he's not the same. The team's not the same when he's not, and I believe this is his final year in Seattle. They've lost 8 straight in Seattle for the first time under Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So, 8 total games, I should say. So, yeah, it's his final year in Seattle, I should say.
Well, basically, for Seattle to finish with a winning record this year, which Seattle has every single season since Russell Wilson has been a starter, they're going to basically have to win out. And with the way they're playing right now, I don't see them winning out at all. I just don't see it. But now we can touch on a few other injuries that happened this week, in which I think one of them nobody's going to be really surprised with. The big one, Christian McCaffrey on IR again, done for the season.
Yeah, they can't bring him back now. You can only do it once.
So at this point in time, though, if you're Carolina, Christian McCaffrey's a great player. He is when he's healthy. Mm-hmm. He can be your franchise back. But what do you do with Christian McCaffrey? Because he can't stay healthy. So Big B, I'll start with you. What does Carolina do?
It's tough because if he's healthy, he's a great back, and that's the whole thing. Is he's not been healthy. I think you gotta move him, but you're not gonna get a healthy McCaffrey value for him because everybody knows he's hurt. So I guess what his value is determined by what the teams are going to want to spend for him. You can ask for a first round pick, you can ask for 2, but I don't think anybody's going to be crazy enough to get that. You might be able to get 1 first round pick, and maybe a third round that could turn into a first round, depending on how much he plays. But I think their best bet would be to kind of force a move. I shouldn't say force a move, but look to move them.
Yeah, and so
Mhm.
right now we have a comment from Justin who says McCaffrey's wife said Cam would take him to Super Bowl. Well, if somebody's going to make a comment and say that Cam's going to take him to Super Bowl, he's going to definitely have to play a lot better than what he did last week.
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah.
5 of 20 with 2 interceptions and threw for like 60 yards. You got to play better than that. But anyway.
And remember
Go
how
ahead.
everybody after Cam and the Panthers beat the Cardinals, and Cam was like, "I'm back," and everybody was like,
Oh, yeah.
"Oh my God, the Panthers finally have their quarterback, and Cam is back, and Cam's gonna take him to the playoffs, and all this nonsense." And 1 week later, all of that put to bed.
Definitely. It got put to bed the next week when they lost to Miami.
That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
went out and lost to Miami, and then they lost
Bad.
again. But yeah, but-
kind of Minnesota's in the same boat with their running back with Dalvin Cook.
yeah,
nothing-
which we're gonna definitely get to that in a minute. But Isaiah, your thoughts with the Christian McCaffrey and Carolina situation?
It's unfortunate because Christian McCaffrey is a tremendous running back, and also he is an explosive talent. And also I have him on one of my fantasy leagues, so that sucked. And I think I picked him number 1 as well, so that's absolutely horrible. But I mean, I don't know what you do if you're the Panthers, because when he's healthy, he's a tremendous talent, but he just can't stay healthy the last couple of years. So, and Joe Brady, when he is in the lineup, when Christian McCaffrey's in the lineup, Joe Brady's able to utilize him a whole bunch of ways and make him even more explosive. So I don't really know what you do. I mean, if you, like Big B said, if you trade him, what are you really going to get in return? You're going to get him for pennies on the dollar. So it's not really going to be fair value than what you could have gotten if he did stay healthy. So it's really an unfortunate situation. I hope that, Carolina, I don't think they should trade him, because I think what Carolina needs is they need a way better quarterback. They're in like the same boat with Denver, where they have the weapons, but they just need that, great signal caller. And I don't know where you find that signal caller, whether it's get Deshaun Watson or get Aaron Rodgers, even though I don't think Green Bay would trade Aaron Rodgers into the NFC, just like I don't think Seattle would trade Russell Wilson within the NFC. So, I mean, I think Carolina just needs to get the quarterback. If you get the quarterback and you have actually a decent passing attack, I think that could put less pressure on Christian McCaffrey, and who knows, maybe that will make him not be that injury prone.
All right, so Chris, your final thoughts on the Christian McCaffrey Panthers?
Yeah, it is unfortunate. He is really good. It kind of reminds me of the Todd Gurley situation. Yeah, he was good as well, but he also got injured a lot and wasn't the same either. So it kind of feels like that. And I'm not good with trades or anything, but maybe you start out the trade with a 3rd round pick and maybe offer up a player. I don't know. But,
Well, yeah, because Christian McCaffrey is definitely when he's healthy and he's out there, he can be a top 5 back in the NFL. That's how dynamic Christian McCaffrey is. At one point, Carolina actually offered Houston a couple 1st-round picks and Christian McCaffrey for Deshaun Watson before all this stuff went down, and Houston turned it down. So it's going to be interesting. But I know where Big B was going with the next one, which we can hit on, because your Vikings are trying to make a playoff push also, but we did see that Dalvin Cook is now injured again. And so with you being a Vikings fan, this is a big question for you, because, Dalvin Cook is a very dynamic back also. The Vikings kind of go as Dalvin Cook goes, I've always said. But as a Vikings fan, what would you like to see Minnesota do with Dalvin Cook? Because he can't seem to stay healthy.
Well, I mean, we always had that one running back, Adrian Peterson, that came back after an injury and lit up and almost broke the rushing record. Can lightning strike twice? Probably not. I mean, and that's what Minnesota's hoping for is that strikes twice with Dalvin Cook. He's another back that healthy. He's a top 5 back. It's tough to say move on from him because it's your team, but Madison in the backfield. I mean, he's average. He might be a superstar back. We don't know. I think he's put in the work and stuff. So, they're just like Carolina. It might be smart to move on from him, but yet you're not going to get the value. Like Isaiah said, you're going to get pennies to the dollar for a back that, when it's healthy, he's a top 5 back. But if he can't stay healthy, then what's he going to be worth? So, yeah, I say Minnesota's in the same boat as Carolina, and they might have to just move on from their superstar back.
All right, Isaiah.
Well, I mean, I was at Levi's, and Dalvin Cook actually got hurt, I believe, a couple of yards from where I was actually stationed at. So I actually saw the injury live, and when I saw it, I thought he tore his knee or whatever, because when I saw it, I couldn't really see the exact angle, but he was just facing down on the turf. He was holding his knee or the back of his knee, so I thought, oh my gosh, here we go. It's another torn ACL for Dalvin Cook. But then I guess they said after the game it was like a dislocated shoulder or something like that. And now it's what is it, a pec? Is it a torn pec now? Is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that. So they're saying he's day to day right now, which to me, I would just rest him. Don't even mess around with his day to day stuff. Just rest him until he's 100%.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Minnesota, I would not put him on IR. I would rest him to the playoffs, because I think Minnesota right now, even though they lost to the Niners, I think that they are in prime position to make the playoffs, just because if you look at the teams that are competing for the final 2 playoffs or the 2 wild card spots in the NFC, you got the Saints, you got the Panthers, you got the Niners, the Vikings, and I think the Washington football team as well. And Saints and Panthers, I feel like they're on the downfall right now. Panthers just can't win. They're losing games. Plus, they don't have a good quarterback. And the Saints, same thing. They're just losing games, and their quarterback situation is in a flux. Washington, I don't really trust Heineke. I think he's an all right quarterback. But I think he will get exposed soon. And so I think it's going to be Minnesota and San Francisco getting the final 2 spots. And I don't think Minnesota's problem is offense, really. I think their problem is defense. I watched that game at Levi's, and San Francisco, Minnesota was, their offense was lighting it up against the 49ers. And I was surprised by that. It was their defense that just got exposed in that game. And the Niners were running it down their throat. They were passing it down their throat. I mean, Minnesota just could not find any answers on the defensive side of the football. So I think, Minnesota, they shouldn't trade Dalvin Cook. What they should do is get more defensive help, because unless you shore up that defense, no matter how good your offense is, you're not going to go anywhere if your defense is giving up like 35 points a game.
Well, to answer your question there, Isaiah, the update I got, there is no torn labrum on Dalvin Cook. It wasn't torn, but they said he will be out at least 2 weeks. And so, Minnesota will go from there and basically see, and they'll have to see how it goes. But, the 49ers were kind of snake bitten though too, because Deebo and Warner could be out from anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks also. And so that losing Deebo's big.
Deebo's the big one. I mean, Deebo and Warner are the big ones, because Warner is like he's like the Draymond Green of the 49ers defense. He's the heart and soul of that defense, and he's like the fiery leader on this football team. And so I'm worried about him, because I don't know if our linebackers could replicate what Warner is able to do on the defense on a week-to-week basis. I mean, Deebo, I think we could replace, because we have Ayuk and we have other wide receivers. Plus, we're just going to keep running the football down everybody's throat. So I'm not worried about that. Warner's injury, though, that's the one that really concerns me, because if the Niners lose Warner for a certain period of time with the game that they've got coming up, and like the playoff and them in the thick of the playoff race, They can't afford to lose Warner for more than a game. Like for Seattle, fine, you can lose Warner for that game. I don't care. But you need him against the Bengals. You need him against the Titans. You need him against the Rams. You can't win those games without Warner in the middle of that defense, guiding all the young guys and where they're supposed to be. So that's even though like it was a great win by the Niners against Minnesota. Sorry, Big B, but I had to throw that in there. But and the Niners found their swag in that game. But the injury bugs just keep biting us, man. I don't know what's really going on in San Francisco.
Just the water.
All right. Well, Big B, if you remember, this was the same guy though that 3 weeks ago was on here saying that everybody in San Fran needs to be fired, and the head coach
And
needs
Jacksonville
to be fired,
was the team to beat.
and Jacksonville was going to be the team to beat, and that everybody in San Fran, that they should start trading guys and benching guys, and now
start my husband Trey Lance because he's the best thing.
Fire Kyle Shanahan for Nick Rolovich, right?
All right, so Crispy Bacon, we're going to end this with you because we're right at that time. So we're going to go ahead and end it with you because we know that your Dallas Cowboys play on Thursday night. They've kind of been bitten by COVID though, also amongst many other teams that have been bitten by COVID also. But you do know that Mike McCarthy will not be coaching on Thursday night. But it looks like you will be getting Amari Cooper back, and CeeDee Lamb could actually.
No, he's still sick. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, he's out.
Okay.
Maybe DiNucci could fill in as coach then.
Yeah, for some reason I thought that Amari Cooper was back.
No,
but I could be wrong about that. But all right. Well, anyways, I guess why he's waiting on that. So I know we also see that you also see that Zeke Elliott potentially may not play on Thursday either. So
that's okay.
So McCarthy won't be there. Potentially Amari Cooper may not be there, and Zeke may not be there.
Who's coaching them then? Who's
Dan
Quinn? I think Dan Quinn is coaching them. So
I thought maybe they call it Jason Garrett.
Which still, regardless, I think what really helps you guys, Chris, is that you heard today, or I posted on one of the days that Taysom Hill starting on Thursday for the Saints.
I'm worried about that, though. I'm worried about that.
Why would you be worried about Taysom Hill? The dude can't quarterback. I wouldn't be worried about him at all. It's Taysom Hill, bro.
Crazier things have happened. So
it's Taysom Hill. I wouldn't be worried about him.
Dan Quinn's the interim coach for the Cowboys. I thought he went to college. I thought he went someone hired him to do college football.
No, he's our defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're at that point now. Welcome. What's up, Shardol? I hope you're having a great night. But yeah, Chris, I still think that the Cowboys will win on Thursday.
Oh yeah, they should win.
The Saints have a great defense, but they can't score. They don't have a quarterback right now that can lead them down the field and score very much.
I thought that about Denver. I thought that about Denver too. So
yeah,
but the thing is though, I would rather take Teddy Bridgewater over Trevor Siemian or Taysom Hill. I would rather do that.
I think the Saints messed up in not signing Bridgewater back.
Exactly. Because Siemian and Taysom Hill, not the answer. So you guys are going to be just fine on Thursday with either one of these two at quarterback. It isn't going to matter. You guys will be just fine. Alvin Kamara might be back. So if he's back, they're going to be running the ball a lot. That's what they're going to be doing. And that dude's a beast. That's really the only worry. Other than that, you guys will be just fine. But we're at that point now. We're at that mark. So, Big B, I'm going to turn this over to you. You have about 30, 45 seconds to wrap up and say whatever it is you got to say.
No, I'm glad we got to do this special. Normally we do Tuesday Night Mania, but, a couple people were down with the illness. So, give us a chance to cover some baseball and the big signings and stuff. So. So I just want to thank everybody who's chimed in, and also if you haven't seen buy Bo D. Sanders' book, it's on Amazon. You can see him Wednesday nights with Joanne and the Bo Show.
Which does remind me, Chris, go ahead and pull it up, please, if you could, while Big B's finishing up. So
yeah.
Big B, go ahead and finish up.
It's endorsed by the Big East Conference. I ordered mine. Got up to chapter 2 so far, and to me, It's a great read. Definitely check it out. Christmas coming around the corner. And people that know me know I don't read books, but I got attached to this one and is definitely enjoying it so far. So,
Yep, definitely. So, if you're a reader, even if you're not a reader and you want to get into reading books, go ahead and check this book out. It's
yep, exactly.
It was fantastic.
It was 15th on the Kindle rating, I think, this week, and then I think it reached like 25 for the paperback copies. So it's getting up there.
All right, Chris. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, so Chris, your final thoughts.
Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. Hopefully, Dallas can pull it off Thursday. I think they will. And also just watch Coast to Coast and my 6 for great shows.
Down with the sickness. All right, so Isaiah, your any final thoughts?
Well, thank you guys for watching the show. It was a great special show tonight. And how about those USC Trojans, man? Stealing Lincoln Riley, one of the brightest young coaches in college football, the white whale of college football, the messiah of college football, away from Oklahoma, man. How about those Trojans? Los Angeles is the mecca of sports.
Is that it? Because I told you I would give you.
Oh, and also
How about them Lakers?
USC is back. LSU is back as well. Tremendous hire of Brian Kelly, man. And man, these coaches, 10 years, 100 million seems like the norm these days. Like I think Brian Kelly got 10 years, 150. So that's like, wow. Who needs to go to the NFL to coach now? Just coach college football.
Yep, LA is back and the Lakers are on their backs.
All right, so there you go. All right, so with that, I do want to thank everybody for checking out our Coast to Coast special tonight. This is not like Big B was saying. This is not normally something we do. This was just something that we wanted to talk about tonight, only because there was so many big moves going on in MLB that everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, they're really happening! They're happening like they're coming in fast." And so we're like, "Yeah, we got to cover this." And then we saw some big injuries in the NFL. We're like, "Okay, we need to cover this because there's potential playoff aspirations going on. It's getting later in the season, and some of these are big." So. But we definitely do want to thank everybody for watching. And thank you, Big B, Isaiah, and Crispy Bacon for co-hosting. It's been an excellent show. Tomorrow night, you can check out another episode of Sports Minute. Don't forget that the Bo and Joe show will also be on tomorrow. And then before that, you can check out the Holistic Hot Mamas tomorrow on Wednesday night also. So with that, I hope everybody has a fantastic night. And we will see you tomorrow